I'm desperate to get off Suboxone. That's what we hear quite a lot. I totally get that. I understand that people don't want to be on another drug. They want to be completely drug-free.
The brand name is Suboxone, but it's really buprenorphine. It is a Schedule III narcotic, which is regulated and lawful to obtain with a prescription.
We had the pill mills when OxyContin was so popular. You'd have people coming from different states, different counties, get there an hour before the clinic opened, long lines, people selling out in the parking lot. And that's what we're seeing with Suboxone.
So it's being abused.
Being abused.
But we have to think, okay, so why do you want to get off Suboxone, and are you ready to get off Suboxone? Because the truth is, Suboxone saves people's lives. As 100,000 people died of an overdose last year, which is the highest number by far.
Dan Smoot with HIDTA, High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area, says Suboxone is not only sometimes abused by patients, but doctors as well.
And Suboxone saves people's lives because it sits on the brain receptors really tightly, lasts a long, long time. That's what's good about it. And it's hard for heroin or even fentanyl to get on top of it, and people overdose because the receptor's already full. So the fentanyl that's out there these days that's killing so many people just can't have much of an effect.
Although it can be covered by Medicaid, many patients pay cash. We're told by doctors that a patient may pay anywhere from $200 to $500 a month for Suboxone treatment, and the prescription can range from $200 to $400 a month depending on the dosage.
There's so much money in these pills.
So you have to be really careful when you think about getting off Suboxone, that are you really ready to be off of that? Because if you're not ready to be off Suboxone and you're not willing to work really, really hard at your recovery, then the risk is that you go off this drug that maybe is reducing your cravings a lot more than you know. You can never tell how much it's reducing your cravings until you go off of it, and then it might be actually working a lot better than you think.
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson! Danger!
Are we headed back to pill mills?
That's the concern, that the buprenorphine clinics are just becoming the pill mills of a few years ago.
But there's a difference, says Dr. Mark Jurish, president-elect of the Kentucky Society of Addiction Medicine. He says the medicine isn't as highly abusable as other opiates because of its chemical makeup.
It does a lot of people a lot of good. It just needs to be in hands of people who can manage this disease well.
So you have to figure, are you ready? Are you really, are you stable in your life? Is the depression and anxiety doing okay? Are you on meds if you need it? Have you got a support group that you're going to? You're abstinent from other drugs like alcohol and pot and cocaine and things, so because all of those things increase your risk of relapse.
Is it a red flag to you to see a line outside of a Suboxone clinic?
Yes.
Are you in a stable relationship, or are you happy being single, and so there's not a lot of stress going on? We really need to make sure that people, when they're ready to make that switch, are ready emotionally and physically and environmentally. And when you do go off of it, please go on long-acting naltrexone for at least a year, because that fills up the receptors and can keep you safe as you make that transition. So we don't want to take somebody off Suboxone unless they're ready.
Opioid addiction can be a struggle. Trapped in a cycle of opioid use, Sublocade may help them keep moving towards recovery. In a study, people treated with once-monthly Sublocade plus counseling were 14 times more likely to have treatment success versus placebo.
It's always funny to see what kind of information they include in these commercials. But here's something they left out. Did you know that the company that makes this drug and its cousin Suboxone was recently indicted on an alleged multi-billion-dollar fraud scheme? Yeah, in April 2019, the U.S. Department of Justice announced that it would move forward on 28 counts against Indivior for fraudulently marketing prescription opioids and allegedly lying to doctors about the safety risks of Suboxone.
Indivior, Inc. falsely and aggressively marketed and promoted the drug Suboxone, which resulted in improper use of state Medicaid funds. The drug is approved for recovering opioid addicts to avoid or reduce withdrawal symptoms while they undergo treatment, but the drug's active ingredient is a powerful and addictive opioid itself. The company will pay $300 million to resolve the civil fraud allegations.
Sublocade can cause serious, life-threatening reactions and death if injected in a vein or if taken with certain other medicines or illicit drugs.
It's funny seeing this company talk about helping people. In 2016, the Attorney General of Massachusetts sued them for conspiring to keep monopoly profits by blocking generic competitors.
There's going to be a big setback to the stock price of Dr. Reddy's after a New Jersey district court has prevented the drug maker from selling a generic version of Indivior's prescription medicine Suboxone in the US market.
Indivior, based in Slough, England, has been battling in court to protect Suboxone from generics for several years, with the suit claiming Dr. Reddy's copycat would violate a patent on the treatment filed in New Jersey federal court in 2017.
It's a very important drug, Suboxone or generic Suboxone. Now, Dr. Reddy's on 15th of June got this approval, and since then the expectation on the street is that they would be able to monetize it. However, as you were pointing out, that there has been a court judgment which has come in which restricts them.
An entire business, and the jobs and livelihoods that depend on it, will be in peril, Indivior said. Indivior earlier in February reported $1 billion in sales for 2018. Once generic versions are available, it said, Suboxone film could lose up to 80% of its market share within months.
What happens in the meantime is that more players come in, the opportunity size of the drugs get lower and lower, and that's why it's an important development to take care. It should be a negative reaction, and let's see how it reacts. It should open on the downward direction as far as the movement today is concerned. It comes in as a setback because the street was expecting that this would do well, or they would launch this drug going ahead.
Hospitals are now required to offer these addictive recovery drugs to addicts who probably know all about them from commercials just like this one.
Read the patient labeling for more information. Call your doctor right away or get emergency help if you feel faint, confused, very sleepy, or very hot.
Danger, Little Robinson.